What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, a couple days ago, I put out a video along the lines of, should Detroit Lions fans have faith in Matt Patricia, and can Matt Patricia take the Detroit Lions to the promised land, make them a contender, really take them to that next level and make them Super Bowl contenders. Now, in that video, I gave you his stats basically on what he's done the first 2 years, as far as an overall umbrella kind of thing, looking at his first season versus second season and kind of giving you my opinion on the topic. However, I think a lot of Detroit Lions fans can confidently say that the only thing that we know about Matt Patricia is that you don't know what he's going to put out on the field. He's had games where he shuts down opposing offenses, even when it feels like they shouldn't. He really outplays, out-schemes, out-coaches the other team, and really shows that he has what it takes to be a great coach in the NFL. And then there's games that he gets out-coached and he makes really poor play call decisions. He makes really bad decisions and struggles at certain things that makes you think that he won't be a good coach in the NFL. Now, in this video, I picked out 5 games that were very memorable to me, at least, in his first 2 seasons in Detroit, whether that be good or bad. And I kind of looked at what he did well as a coach or what he didn't do well. And I kind of wanted to figure out Patricia a little bit and just see what causes these things to happen. So if you are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, consider liking the videos and subscribe to the channel. Doing all that helps push it out and bring new people into the channel, helps the channel grow. So if you could take 2 seconds out of your day to do that, it would mean the world to me. I would be very appreciative to everybody that chooses to do that. And with that being said, let's take a look at Matt Patricia and kind of try to figure him out a little bit. So Matt Patricia, the 5 games that I looked at, I guess, to start with, right, is going to be the New York Jets game, his first game as a head coach, the New England Patriots game, his 3rd game as a head coach, the Chicago Bears game in Week 10 of the 2018 season, which I'll explain in a minute, the Week 13 game in 2018 where we played the Los Angeles Rams, and the Week 4 game of 2019 when we played the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jets game, I feel like it's kind of funny because it sums up his head coaching experience, right? His first defensive play call ever as a head coach was a pick 6. Quandre Diggs picked it off on the first defensive snap of the season, took it back to the house for 6. The best possible way you can start your coaching career happened to Matt Patricia, and he followed that up with getting absolutely demolished by the New York Jets, 17-48. Obviously not quite how you want to start your NFL coaching, your coaching tenure, right? The defense allowed 169 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. They also allowed 198 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, and the special teams allowed 3 returns for 137 yards and another touchdown on top of that. Matt Patricia really got outcoached in this game. I mean, the Detroit Lions defense did not play well, and they really couldn't stop anybody. Now, that was a horrible way to start. However, not even 13 days later, they welcomed the 2018 New England Patriots roster, who we looked at yesterday. They invited them to Detroit, and in that game, they dominated future Super Bowl champions in the New England Patriots. They beat them 26-10. They didn't allow 100 rushing yards. They allowed 89 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns, 133 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And keep in mind, this Patriots offense was a top 5 rushing offense in both yards and touchdowns that year. And Matt Patricia really schemed to shut that down. And it was very successful. And obviously, we ended up winning that game. That was a huge statement win early in our 2018 season and really got some stuff moving. Going forward a few weeks later, in Week 10 against the Chicago Bears, Matt Patricia's defense gave up 34 points to the Chicago Bears, which was the 2nd most points that year. Obviously, only less than the 48 points given up by the defense in Week 1. Now, the Chicago Bears that year only averaged 26 points a game. The defense allowed 54 rushing yards, but they allowed 2 touchdowns, and they allowed Mitchell Trubisky, to pass for 355 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, again, Matt Patricia really he struggled to coach in that game. He just struggled to keep the offense on the field. His defense got tired by the end of the game and really gave up a lot of points. However, 3 weeks after that, they welcomed the Los Angeles Rams into Ford Field, and in that game, Matt Patricia out-schemed and out-coached Sean McVay, the up-and-coming, head coach for the Los Angeles Rams. And as we know, in 2018, the Los Angeles Rams also went to the Super Bowl to take on the Patriots and ended up losing that game. However, in Week 13, Matt Patricia, he really schemed to take away what the Rams did well, which is play action. He took that away. He really made Goff struggle. He made Goff check down, go short. And when Jared Goff, a young, really not that good quarterback, he got sick of doing short check downs. He got sick of, not being able to take deep shots like they've been doing all year. He then forced deep shots, and Matt Patricia was able to force turnovers. He was able to force Jared Goff to hold the ball longer than he usually would and force pressure, force turnovers, force sacks, and really outcoach Sean McVay. And the only reason they lost the game is because that Rams team was so talented that, it really didn't matter how good the Lions schemed, how good they prepared. That team all around was just better than the Lions 2018 roster. And by the end, the defense got tired, the defense got gassed, and Todd Gurley, being the great player that he was in 2018, broke off a few big runs and ended that game. It was a one-score game until within 2 minutes of the clock expiring. And in that last 2 minutes, Todd Gurley punched it and he ran out the clock and really put the game out of reach. But for a majority of the game, the Detroit Lions outplayed the Rams, and the Rams were arguably the most talented roster in the NFL that year. And then taking a look at our Week 4 matchup this past season against the Kansas City Chiefs, Matt Patricia, with all of his flaws, with all the defense's flaws, giving up, the most passing yards in the NFL, giving up, I believe the 29th most passing touchdowns, being a very horrible secondary, very horrible defense overall, they held Patrick Mahomes to 0 passing touchdowns. Let me say that again. Zero passing touchdowns, not a single one. That was the first time that it was ever done in Patrick Mahomes' career. That's the only time he's ever been shut out as far as touchdowns, and that's the only time that has happened since. Matt Patricia is the only coach to ever hold Patrick Mahomes to 0 passing touchdowns in a game. Now, you might look at all of these games and just say, it's inconsistent. There's no reason that we should be able to outplay the Super Bowl champions and the Patriots, the Super Bowl runner-ups, and the Rams, and get blown out by the Jets, who weren't even that competitive in 2018, or get blown out by the Chicago Bears, who were good in that year, but really weren't a great offense. And when, in saying that we shouldn't get blown out by the Jets or the Bears, you're absolutely right. And I was actually struggling to find a comparison between the three teams that we outplayed and a comparison between the Jets and the Bears. However, obviously I knew that the Patriots and the Rams were really heavy in play action in 2018. So I looked up those stats, and the 2018 New England Patriots ran 31% of the New England Patriots plays in 2018 were play action. 36% of the Rams plays were play action. So I thought, those teams were very similar. They passed, very similar in percentage wise. They both had top 5 rushing offenses, and they both used play action a ton to their advantage to work off their fantastic running games. And then I looked at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, 27% of the Kansas City Chiefs passing plays last year were play action, and that would be good for 4th in the NFL. It seems as though Matt Patricia is very good at scheming against play action heavy schemes, whether that be the Rams, the Patriots, or the Chiefs. Those guys run play action a lot, obviously the lowest being only 4th in the NFL in their respective season, and he really took that away. He schemed to take away play action. He put them out of their comfort zone. He really made things uncomfortable and made them, rethink their entire scheme, made them rethink their entire game plan, and really, the Patriots couldn't adapt. So, the Chiefs they shouldn't have won that game if Kerryon Johnson doesn't fumble and they return it for a 100-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. The Lions win that game, and if the Detroit Lions offense can score more than 16 points against the Rams, they're most likely winning that game. So Matt Patricia really outcoached all 3 of these coaches on those given Sundays. He really outperformed. He really showed me that he has what it takes to be an elite coach in the NFL. Now, with that being said, the New York Jets in 2018 ran play action 26% of the time, ranking 10th in the NFL, and we gave up 48 points on that. However, again, the offense really let us down in this game. In the first game of the season, Matthew Stafford not only threw 4 interceptions, one of those was for a pick 6, so that's 7 points that was not given up by the defense, and then another 7 points came off a punt return for a touchdown that also was not the defense's fault. So if you take those 2 touchdowns off the board, the defense by itself gave up 34 points with their quarterback throwing 4 interceptions and really being on the field for a majority of that night, and they scored a touchdown. They scored as many touchdowns as their offense that night, And, you can't expect your defense to carry you when your offense as a whole is only scoring 10 points on the game. And while we shouldn't be giving up 34 points to any team, especially the New York Jets in Sam Darnold's first ever NFL game, the offense needs to help. The defense can't be asked to do it all by himself. Matt Patricia and the defense need some help. And Jim Bob Cooter, that is the reason he got fired. He really wasn't putting together a game plan for the offense. It really wasn't helping out the defense in any way. So my conclusion for this video is that Matt Patricia is actually a very good head coach. Doing the research actually helped me see that Matt Patricia is outcoached a lot of very good coaches in the NFL. Sean McVay was looked at as an elite coach in 2018. Bill Belichick is one of the greatest football minds ever. Andy Reid is viewed as one of the best, not ever, but he's viewed as one of the best head coaches in the NFL right now. Matt Nagy was coach of the year, I believe, in 2018, and the Jets was an outlier. That I don't have an excuse for. Sometimes you just play a bad game and your offense and your quarterback throws 4 interceptions and a pick 6 on that. But, that's just Matt Patricia throughout his career, throughout his tenure with the Detroit Lions, has showed a lot of very good things. Now, my conclusion is, the conclusion I came to is that Matt Patricia does a very good job at taking away what you do well. Whether that be the play action in the case of the Rams and the Patriots, whether that be Patrick Mahomes, their biggest offensive weapon for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jets ran a lot of play action, and Matt Patricia really took that away. And, the Chicago Bears had an elite defense, and their offense couldn't score. The defense was on the field a lot of that game, and by the end of the game, they gave up a lot of points, which is unacceptable, but again, kind of an outlier. It was just unfortunate the offense did not help him out. So Matt Patricia can be a good head coach with help. You can't expect any head coach in the NFL to win football games when their offense is putting up 16 to 18 points a game. You can't expect a head coach to win the game when your quarterback is throwing 4 interceptions, when your team's turning the ball over 5 times a game, when you're just not doing anything on offense. Yeah, eventually your defense is going to break. Eventually they're going to get tired. They're going to give up big plays because they've been on the field the whole game. Matt Patricia is a very good schemer. He's a very smart guy. He's very good at taking away what you do well. The only problem is he's not very good at adapting. The Kansas City Chiefs game is a perfect example. He took away Patrick Mahomes. He took away the passing options. He took away the deep ball and really forced Patrick Mahomes to hold the ball a little bit and check it down more than they usually do. And because of that, the Kansas City Chiefs ran the ball more, and they were very successful. Patrick Mahomes ran it a couple times. LaShawn McCoy had a pretty big day even with the fumbles. That rushing offense had a huge day against the Lions. I believe they had over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they carried that team, and Matt Patricia wasn't able to adapt to the running game. Against the New England Patriots, he took away their play action and their run game, and New England wasn't able to adapt. They weren't able to overcome that. They weren't able to change it up on the fly, and because of that, because of the preparation that he put in, Matt Patricia was able to outcoach his former boss in Bill Belichick and win that football game. The same thing could be said for the Los Angeles Rams game. They took away the play action. They took away the deep ball, which is something that the Rams offense was known for that season. And not only did it force Jared Goff to check down, it forced Jared Goff to get, he got angry. He wanted to push the ball downfield because that's what they've been doing all season. And that forced turnovers. That forced him to hold the ball longer than he usually would. It forced fumbles. It forced interceptions. Really put Jared Goff in a tough situation and made it a very long day for the Rams offense. Now, obviously, they ended up losing that game. However, I believe Matt Patricia actually outperformed Sean McVay in that game, and he put the blueprint out there for the New England Patriots to beat them in the Super Bowl. The New England Patriots did the same exact thing the Lions did. It's just a matter that the New England Patriots had a more talented roster in 2018 than the Detroit Lions did. They were able to contain them a little bit better. Their offense was able to sustain drives a little bit better than the Detroit Lions, and the New England Patriots were able to end that game as victors instead of the Detroit Lions ending it as losers. Matt Patricia has shown a lot of good things in Detroit throughout his time, and I understand he's not perfect, but he is a young head coach. He's done it for 2 years, and as a young head coach, you're not going to be good at everything. Matt Patricia struggles at adapting to things when things don't go quite according to what he thought was going to happen, and that's something he definitely needs to get better at. However, he is good at scheming. He is good at planning for games. He is good at the pregame stuff and getting his players ready to play every single Sunday. He just isn't good at adapting to certain things when things go off the rails a little bit, which, isn't great. And he can't win without an offense. He can't win with the offense scoring 16 or 18 points It's just not feasible. No head coach should have to do that. That is what I found doing the research for this video. Matt Patricia has shown me a lot of good things. I think Matt Patricia is a good head coach. I have a lot of faith in him next year that he will get better. I think he got better as a person last year as far as relating to his players, not being so hard on them, not necessarily expecting them to be the New England Patriots. And I think next year he's going to, improve in that area. But I also think he's going to improve as a head coach. I think he's going to get better at adapting. With him and Corey Undlin, they're really, I think that they're going to be able to build off each other and build a better game plan and adapt better than Paul Pasqualoni and Matt Patricia did. And I think that next year the Detroit Lions head coach is going to be a very good head coach next year. I think he's going to coach our guys up to be very good. I think he's going to not only plan just as good as he has throughout his tenure already, I think he's going to be much better at adapting. And I think not only is he going to take away your first option, what you do best, but when you adapt, when you try to change it up, he's going to be ready for a counter, and he's going to take the second thing away just as good as he took away the first thing. That is what I took away when looking at these games, when, doing the research, looking at the numbers for these 5 games. Now, if you disagree, if you don't think Matt Patricia is a very good head coach at all, if you think that he is just not the guy in Detroit, not the guy that deserves to take them, or not the guy that even can take them to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl, let me know that in the comments down below. I'm very interested on people's opinions because I know it's very one side or the other. Either you have a lot of faith in Patricia or you really don't. And I know people on both sides, and I can respect the opinion of both sides. But let me know where you stand on this opinion. Personally, I think Matt Patricia is a good head coach. I think he can take us to the promised land. I think he's shown a lot of good things in Detroit. And now with all the offensive help and all the offensive weapons on the offensive side of the ball, I think that not only is his defense going to get help from the offense, but I think that he can, with all the additions on the defense, he can get back to coaching a top 10 defensive unit again. So that is my opinion. That is how I view Matt Patricia. Let me know if you disagree in the comments below. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. A little bit of a longer video because there was a lot of stats, a lot of numbers to go over. So if you like longer videos, there you go. If you don't like longer videos, if like some shorter, like bite-sized pieces, I apologize. But I thought this was a very interesting topic to look at, and I am actually very appreciative that I looked into this because I actually found a lot of good things. Now, as I said, that is all I have for you guys today. If there is Lions just before tomorrow, I'll obviously make a video letting every single person know. But if not, that is all I have for you guys today. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you all so very much for watching the video, and I will see all of you on the next Detroit Lions video. Thank you all for watching. Bye, guys.